the truth isn't all seems. Four masters of real estate step forward to help put the E first in the word true. TREU. Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. And now, here's the Fantastic Four of Real Estate with their host, Tom Platania.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an absolutely beautiful day in South Florida. Here, you're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I'm Tom Platania, your host. TREU Radio, TREU. We're putting education first in the word truth. Man, what a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous day out.
Perfect.
Man, this is
another day in paradise.
This is when you can call it paradise. It's not too hot for.
In the studio.
You know, maybe that's what we should work on. We should work on having Mike bring the show outside for us.
There you go.
I like that. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, we could knock down this wall and just
Yeah.
kind of have all the sunshine come on in.
Exactly. Just put a big gaping hole, put a little, what do you call those little atrium things
There
that
you
go
go.
out? You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I think we'd have like tea and crumpets served to us while we're doing the show.
Maybe beach chairs instead of
I
these.
like
these
that.
Right down by the water.
I could like it. We fall asleep halfway through the show. Tom, wake up.
Well, speaking of getting out of the studio, aren't we going to be having a little adventure next week?
Next week.
Yeah, tell the audience about that. What are we doing?
We're going to be actually broadcasting live from, where is it?
It's the Stewart Recreation Center here in Stewart. We are working with the Kane Center for the Meals on Wheels. And we will be providing lunch along with the Kane Center. They'll be helping provide the lunch with the dessert. We'll be, Eula Clark will be there with us. I've got a couple of other people that I have invited to come in, see if they come in.
Now, where exactly
and Eula
is
is
that?
the mayor of Stewart. It's over off 10th Street,
Okay.
off of Palm Beach Road?
Yes.
Okay.
So, nice center. Come by and see us. Always welcome to have you there.
I'll have to get that, because I'm not very familiar. I've lived here for a year, and I know how to get from my house to the liquor store and the restaurants, and to the studios.
We've been doing this every special holiday now for the people who are the seniors that are affiliated with the Kane Center and the Meals on Wheels program, and it's really been a joy. There's some great people. They look forward to seeing us. We look forward to seeing them. We get a great game of bingo going. And
awesome.
Food and talking, and it's fun.
And they're
It's fun.
passionate about the bingo.
Yes, they are.
Oh, they are.
Oh, are
Really?
they?
And it's all about giving back, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
No, this is
Just
going to
one-
be fun. This is going to be our
Just one
first
more
remote.
thing. Yeah.
So that'll be awesome, and I'll definitely have to make sure I set up ahead of time. We get all the technical difficulties worked out. This is be our first time doing this, so that'll be good. But we'll be great. We'll have some good microphones. Get some wireless microphones. We'll be able to go out into the crowd.
Yeah.
So please come on by, folks, and
Come
make
by
sure.
and see us.
Yeah, and you can go to our Facebook page. We'll have something posted on our Facebook page, True Radio on Facebook. Remember, TREU Radio. And we'll go ahead and post all the information and stuff on Facebook, and also be on Twitter. This way, if you want to make sure that you stop by, and hey, send us a little. Actually, I think we can create like an invite event on there, can't we?
I do
Absolutely.
believe so. Sure.
Yeah, I think Scott,
We'll be there from
I'll take care
we'll
of
be
it.
there from 10 to 1
There
on
you go.
Thursday, so it'll be a nice day.
Absolutely, that'd be great, and yeah, I'm excited about that. That's awesome to hear that. Perfect. Well, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, is here to help educate you folks about what's kind of going on in the market. You know, we want to make sure that you don't make some mistakes that have, kind of happened to a lot of folks out there, especially when the housing industry, when it goes up and down the way it does. And I heard something on CNBC that there was a big organization that has been buying up real estate for years and years and years, and they stopped. So trying to get to the bottom of why they stopped. And of course, when you listen to CNBC, there's like 20 different opinions, and you know, the world's going to end tomorrow, and no, the other guy's saying that no, we're at the best we can possibly be. And I guess it's a matter of sifting through the information. But so it's a lot of weird stuff going on out there, and I think we're going to be talking about some of that stuff that you folks have come across. You know, these folks that they're out in the field every day, so they see what's going on, and what better place to find out the information. And you know, how do we learn? We learn from mistakes. Well, you folks listening to us can possibly learn from mistakes or successes from some of the other people out there that our people have been working with it through the week.
Yeah, there's a lot going on out there. Especially you were talking about different people getting into the investment game. So people are looking on some of these online sites. I'm not going to list all
Yeah.
the names for them, but a lot of places where it's an online bidding site, and people they're really
Can't imagine that for housing.
yeah, and they do. But the problem is that some of them aren't featuring. They're not very upfront about the pricing. There's some of them they have a buyer's premium that you don't see. You look at the house, go, oh well, they're looking 120,000 for that. There was a $9,000 buyer's premium because they want the buyer to pay the commission.
The buyer premium is usually 4.5%.
Oh my gosh. That's insane. So they have like a little auctioneer on there. Hey, we're gonna side buy.
But so I've had customers like, well, what do you mean? I saw that property on blank .com for this price. I'm like, well, a lot of the investors and some of the banks, they're coming in at a low price.
Right.
They want to create that bidding war.
Absolutely.
And some of these properties are ending up with 20, 25 people bidding concurrently at the same time, and they actually end up paying the final person because of the feeding frenzy, ends up paying more.
Unreal. And these, how is that even legal?
It's totally legal.
It's an
Well,
auction.
some of the other things we've seen as well is that, they want us to put in offers without even previewing the property. Is one of the things I'm coming across as well. They would not allow you to, they just want you to like bid on it without even previewing it. It's crazy for the buyer not seeing something. It's really like buying a pig in a bag.
They want the
There's-
buyer.
Yeah,
They want the buyer
yeah,
to put an offer on the property without
yeah,
even seeing.
seeing
And the
it.
bad
Yeah,
part is
yeah.
when they do their inspection period, then if there's something they don't like, they walk away. Well,
Well, the-
that's an unfortunate
Most
thing.
of them don't have an inspection period.
Well, some
Yeah.
do, some don't. I mean, some of my investors are still doing the inspection, even though they want to make an offer with sight unseen.
Now, in a situation like that, I know there's basically two types of contracts, right? What type of contract are you typically seeing on that type of a site?
An as-is
An
contract.
as-is
Yeah.
contract.
But that's almost all the
it's
contracts
really-
Yeah,
now.
that's almost of them today.
Yeah, but it's
Although
really
you're-
not it's a modified
It is.
because that as-is contract really means nothing because there's a real estate addendum that comes down from the bank that supersedes the whole
Right.
contract, and they contradict the whole contract. So if you're an investor nowadays buying a foreclosure and you don't have an attorney reading that verbiage, word for word, you're opening yourself up to a mirror of different issues. And I've had, first-time investors or wannabe investors, say, well, I don't want to spend the extra $500 on an attorney or something like that. And then after closing, find out that there's a bunch of stuff that was never done, or there was, title searches or municipal lien searches that weren't done because on the addendum it said they weren't doing them.
Yeah.
So that were never read through. So that it's
Coming
important.
from New York, where I think it was crazy when I came here, that a transaction would take place and there's no attorneys involved. And I can say, wow, first when I looked at it, I said, oh man, this is a slam dunk in making a deal here. But then when you look at it really, I think it really behooves the buyer really to solicit an attorney.
Exactly,
To,
especially on a foreclosure.
It is.
Yeah,
But how I
yeah.
get around that is on my contracts, I specify that the buyer will pay title. And by the buyer paying title, that they use their title companies.
Yes.
So the title company, therefore, is protecting the buyer.
Yeah, that's
for
as
any of
long as it doesn't contradict the real estate addendum. If the real estate addendum is saying that, that the seller is not going to pay for this or cover this or do that,
Right. Well,
You
that's
know,
our
you're-
job to review
you're-
those and cross them out.
right? But
So-
that's far over my head as a realtor. I suggest an attorney to read that because
Oh,
we're
yeah, all
we're
the
not
time.
attorneys
Yes.
and we're not
Yeah,
going to
we're
put
not
ourselves
here
out
to
there.
give legal advice.
Yeah,
No,
and
we
not
don't
at
give
all,
legal advice,
you
but
know.
I've done hundreds of these, and
yeah.
trust me, it does work if you have a title company that does protect your interest.
Yeah.
okay. I
Paid
respect.
by,
I respect that.
Yeah.
paid by the buyer.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense having that. So it's just, I tell you, all this, you hear all these things that they're going through, ladies and gentlemen, and you really, you have someone listening to the sound of our voices has been in a situation before, and you want to share this. You want to share it. So give us a call here at the studio, 772-220-9788. That's 220-9788. Give us a call at the studio, and if you've had any issues with buying, selling, or investing, we don't need to know your name. We don't need to know the name of the companies, but tell us your story so that other folks out there can either, one, stop from it happening to them, or be successful with it if it was something that was good for you, if it worked for you. Maybe you found a foreclosure that ended up working out into your favor. Maybe you found a foreclosure that was like one of those ones we were talking about a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago, or maybe you were one of those folks that are on those bidding sites. That to me, I just can't, I mean that I guess that's just what's wrong with the market is how they allow something like that.
Let me give you a different twist on that. Some of those online bidding sites, auction sites, I kind of like a little bit better because you can see who you're bidding against and what the price is. So let me give you a scenario. If you're bidding on a Fannie Mae property that's listed, okay, and the agent says we have 30 offers, which is that's normal. I mean, it happens.
Okay.
And they'll come back and say, give us your highest and best. Well, you may be bidding against yourself. You may already have the highest, but you don't know what the other properties are, who's offering, what the story is. So you may be top, and you're going to top yourself. At least in some of these sites, you can see the number, as they go up, so that you have a little bit of. So the thing is, that you really need someone that's educated in these sites, that have closed deals in some of these sites, that know all the ins and outs.
Now, all these numbers you're talking about, like the extra the fees, like the $9,000 you were talking about, is that stuff that you can physically see on there?
Right on the front page.
Okay, so it's not like there's nothing hidden on this.
Nothing is
you just
hidden.
have to know what you're looking for.
Right. You have to know what you're looking for and know, you got to read because of, you got to see the whole picture. And I'm telling you, some of those sites, I've gotten some excellent deals for my investors because people don't know how to utilize them correctly. And they don't know, the 15-minute rule, and they don't know all those things.
The sniping rule.
Yeah, they don't know that you can put an auto bid and bid them out $1,000
well,
at a time.
hold those thoughts on those because when I come back, I want to talk about some of those because you've piqued my interest on this because I always thought this was like which is just like an eBay of buying and selling homes. Basically what this is.
It is basically, and you get to know who some of these people are because you're bidding against them a lot.
Okay.
And so you'll see initials up there, M. Smith. Well, Mike Smith.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
I know
going to
this
dig
is
more
Mike.
because
I
you
know
guys.
where
You
he's
guys
I just
going.
had an experience this week here
Yeah.
with an offer that I had accepted by a prominent company, no names at all, and I am still waiting to get, even though they took it off, the realtor took it off the MLS and have it as pending. I still haven't gotten the documents yet.
Right.
from
You'll
just
take
had
up to
one.
3 weeks. It can
Yeah,
take
2
up
to
to
3
3
weeks.
weeks.
I just had one, took 3 weeks.
3
Yep.
weeks.
So
really?
you guys are all participating in this online stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got to hear more about this because you got my interest piqued. All right, well, we're going to take our first quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and hear from some of our partners who you really want to pay attention because I tell you, if you own a home or thinking about buying or investing in a home, every one of these partners that are going to be having are going to help you out. So listen in. You're also listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed with the Fantastic Four, Andrew Sesta, Carol Morgan, Scott McAllister, and Mr. Farouk Ali. We'll be right back.
Customer service and great rates. That's what you get with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Remember, everyone's just one torrential downpour away from a flood. And with rates as low as $129 per year, why would you not get coverage? Call 772-233-4444 or email flood@atlanticinsurance.us and save hundreds on all your insurance needs. That's 772-233-4444, 233-4444 for Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Are you selling your home? Wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stuart, and online at stewartdecorator.com. When you buy a home without a housemaster inspection, things can break down without warning. When things break down without warning, you get angry. When you get angry, you may commit acts of random violence. When you commit acts of random violence, you could do hard time. Don't do hard time. Call Housemaster for your home inspection needs. 772-336-2111. Or visit them on the web, stlucy.housemaster.com.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jupiter, and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I'm Tom Platania, your host. Here with the Fantastic Four, Scott McAllister, Andrew Sesta, Carol Morgan, and Mr. Farouk Ali. Now, we were talking about, before we went to the break, we were talking about the online bidding sites. And I just will spend a minute, and then I'll let you guys, I know we got to get around to our segment, Hot Around Town, but this really intrigues me. It really does.
Well, and to Andrew's point right before the break, where he was saying that there's a lot of little subtleties about the sites. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to use the sites, but what I think buyers don't realize is a realtor can bid on the site on your behalf, and we've done that kind of work. Like he said, he was off air. We were talking about how if on some of the sites, if it's a bidding process, you don't even have the right to inspect.
Right.
Oh. No.
No inspection.
So once you push the button,
Yes.
it's yours.
It's as is.
Once they accept, it's
Yeah.
yours.
Once they-
Yeah.
And it's written. I mean, they don't hide the language, but how many people just click buttons? You know, they're used to eBay. They're not reading all of the details.
yeah.
And that's something it doesn't cost the buyer anything to have a realtor representing them, on that site. So, absolutely give the station a call, give one of us a call, and we'd be happy to guide you through.
Yep,
And,
and the
we
things
know
you
what
have to
we're
be
doing.
aware of is the money that you post as your earnest money. If you do that and you walk away from it, you lose your
lose
earnest
it, right.
money. You
You
lose
also
your
have
deposit.
to have deep pockets too when you're buying these properties like that,
do.
because you don't know what you're going to go in there to find. So you have to have money to bring it up to the standard that you would
Best
want to
thing
have
to do
it.
is try to review the properties before you bid them.
Yeah.
We had one that we were closing, and we urged the buyer to use a local title company, and of course he didn't. He wanted them to pay for title. Got back to HUD, they were charging him, they were supposed to be paying for title. They were charging him $1,300 in closing fee. And when I questioned, what does that $1,300 entail? She said, oh, it's just a catch-all. It's for everything, postage, whatever. And I said, so you don't have an itemized list of what you're doing? No. So I said, well, that's a red flag. And then in asking for the paperwork, they never did a municipal lien search. So I told my investor, I said, this could be a problem. That house has been sitting vacant for 2, 3, 4 years. I know that there's code enforcement liens and all that stuff that wasn't addressed. So he said, what do you suggest we do? I said, well, I suggest we pay. It's $96. Let's get it done. We extended the closing for an extra week. We did the municipal lien search, $36,000 worth of fines that he would inherit it if he didn't do that search.
Yeah.
$36,000.
Yeah. We're
I mean,
fighting
it's
one in Port
not-
St. Lucie
Is
right
that
now.
jump change?
Yeah, so it's like,
No.
and he would have closed. He would have just went through the process and closed, and then got stuck on the flip side.
So that's a potential issue when we're dealing with those
No
sites.
For you
doubt.
guys that are out
No
there
doubt.
listening, don't get into something that you don't know anything about. It's not worth it.
Well,
in the
people
long
think
run.
foreclosures are the buzzword of the of the times right now.
Yeah,
Everyone,
they get
you
it
know,
so cheap.
when you talk to a
yeah.
buyer, they want, I want a foreclosure.
Yeah.
Really, you have no idea
Yeah.
what the nightmares of foreclosures can actually be.
They
You know,
are.
you just don't.
Well, I think Michael Brew, who's the general manager for our Keller Williams, it brought it up just a great term. He said the other day, he said, "Florida's not on sale anymore."
No, we are
There are
not on
deals to
sale.
be had, but there's not a big, fire sale sign up hanging. That was the past.
Yeah.
That's over.
Yeah. That makes a lot
In
of
fact,
sense.
most of the bank, like we said before in the past, that most of the bank homes now today are actually coming in higher than
Yeah.
Oh,
what the
yeah,
market
we
is
were-
bearing.
Yeah, we
now.
talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So,
talked
It's a
about that.
bidding war right now.
So really, we need to be not saying stay away from the sites, but you need to be cautious. You probably definitely need to make sure that you have a realtor representing you so that they can find out. They're going to know some of the language. They're going to know terminology, like you were talking about the 15-minute rule. I mean,
Or even if you're going to go buy a property from for sale by owner, make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you really do your homework.
Yeah.
And trying to get to where you want to go.
That's a
you
whole
know.
nother show right there.
Yeah.
Let's make a
Oh,
note of
we'll,
that.
we'll be getting to that show. That
Yeah.
show. Well, hey, let's talk about what's hot around town. Let's start. Who did we start with last week? We start with Farouk today.
Oh, you're going to start it, man.
Let's start with Farouk.
Well, what's hot around
what's
town
hot
right
around
now
town
is
for
that
you?
my little neck of the woods right now, we have no listings.
None.
None. Everything that I've had is sold. So what's hot for us right now is going out there and get sellers. We have buyers looking for properties,
Okay.
qualified. Some of them is not only pre-approved, but they're approved.
Very nice.
Ready
Which
to
makes it
go.
very good for
Yes,
the
ready to
seller.
go, yeah.
Yeah.
So, if sellers out there looking to sell their property, now's the time to contact a realtor and try to get the best, get a CMA done to make sure you know what your property is really worth, not what it is you would
Which is
really want to
competitive
sell
market
it for.
analysis, which tell the CMA tells you
Yeah,
what the value of your home is.
Yeah, because a lot of times when people are getting ready to sell as well, they go out and they spend a lot of money sprucing it up, not realizing they're not going to recoup that money.
Yeah.
So it's also good to do a before and after
Okay.
consultation to know, okay, if I change the kitchen or I do this, how would it bump my price up?
Right.
Was it really worth my while? So
And it's
you
smart to
know.
have a licensed realtor
That's
step in,
correct, yeah,
especially with
yeah.
somebody with your guys' experience, and that's a
Of
good thing.
course,
Now, Farouk, if somebody wanted to contact you directly, because you have no listings, but you got a bunch of buyers, so that's
well,
opportunity.
it's not only for me; it's all of us here. So, and I think everybody here is pretty much in the same situation. We have our number; we use the same number. Let
Okay.
calls come in, and
Okay. So if
we take
anybody
care
wants
of it that way.
to give Farouk a call, just give us a call at 772-882-5700. Because if you're possibly thinking about putting your house on the market, what a better time. If he's got a bunch of people wanting to buy and he has no other listings, this is a prime opportunity
It
if you
is.
were even considering. I mean, I think that's what, sellers would love that. I mean, a lot of times you're looking for buyers. You sit at an open house for, 8 hours and nobody
Right.
shows up. Now you got a ton
We
of
have
people.
buyers. We don't have any homes.
All right, so let's go to Carol. Carol, what's hot around town?
Oh God, it's been an interesting
Besides that
week.
hot pink jacket you got on, I'm liking that.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's been a very interesting week for me. I mean, I guess I'm never too old in this business to learn something, and I'm working with a buyer right now who's looking for a 5-bedroom home, and came across one in Summerfield that is a bid, auction bid, and we went and viewed the house. Beautiful, beautiful 5-bedroom, 2-story home. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. And my red flag goes up immediately when I see the price on it. And it's listed like for $254,900. I'm thinking, what the heck? This is Summerfield.
Yeah.
These houses there are going about at about $165 to $170 a square foot or more. And this house is way underpriced. So we view it, I look at it, say, okay, I need to get to the bottom of this. Well, here's what I found out. This is a bid home, an online bid home. This house is bid for people who are going to reside in the home only,
Okay.
no investors.
Okay.
So with that being said, it is a 2-story home, which is kind of eliminating your market because most of the people who can afford this type of home usually are empty nesters who have no children. This is going to be a young family. This bid process is cash, or you can do financing with no contingencies. That means that you cannot sell your house and make your contract subject to the closing on your home. Because the money that you post on that, if you do not fulfill it, you lose.
And a lot of people are using money from the sale of one home to pay for the other home.
Now, I could have sold that house 10 times over. But, again, my people have had homes that are in the process of closing
Wow.
that need to get the cash out of their house in order to buy this house. And now we all know how, with the mortgages today, deals fall a day or two before closing. So nobody is going to take that risk. It was a very interesting. So if anybody out there has cash in your pocket and you're looking for an amazing house in Summerfield, call me, 772-631-1394. Be glad to put it together for you. But I'm telling you, it was something new to me. I mean, we've been bidding on homes for years now since this market fell, and I've never come across quite like one like this before. You have the first 8 days in the process, no bids are taken in at all. It's just all look. From day 8 to day 15, all bids will come in. Now, the bank does have an opportunity to say no, so then they go to the second round. They don't, if the bids come in what their reserve is, they don't have to accept it. It is interesting. But this house should have priced out, when I comped it, it should have been $464.9.
And see, that's a good reason to have a good licensed realtor with you, because the average Joe would have jumped at that, and after they got their feet in the water already, they'd be sinking because they would have no idea
That's right.
about all the other stuff. And having a good licensed realtor that's been down that road and
And you know the sad part about all of these, those people who live in Summerfield have paid good money for their houses in there. And their values are good in there. If this house is to sell at the $354.9, do you know what that's going to do to the other houses in there for comping it? Not good.
No.
It's not good.
Reduces the market.
And
Yep.
Summerfield's such a nice community.
It is a great community.
yeah. So, well, Mr. Andrew, what's hot around town for you?
Well, it's been a hot week for sure. I
Yes,
was,
it
I was
has.
down in Boynton Beach for 2 days at a training, which was amazing.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah, a lot actually. It was really good. Keller Williams has some great trainings, and went to a recruit select class and with a bunch of other team agents. So it was really good. But I, like Farouk, have the same problem. I don't have any listings left. I was gone for 2 days, and 4 of them went under contract. So there's not a whole lot left. So what was hot about yesterday was the new listing agent, Laura Vinci, that came to my team from another prominent Remax team. We went door knocking in Sewell's Point yesterday, giving out, a little gift bags and touring the area and knocking on some doors. Met some really good people. So it's like
You
back.
did?
Yes.
Well, I want a picture of that.
Yeah, so it was back to the
That's
basics.
real estate 101.
Yeah.
That's it. Back to the basics, and we can't sit
Oh,
around. If you're not
yes.
going to come to me, I'm coming to you.
That's
So,
right.
If I saw him coming, I'd be like, oh man, the Jehovah's Witnesses are coming.
yeah, but it was really, really interesting because it's been a long time since I've actually done that.
Yeah, I know.
And Laura said, "Hey, let's go out there and hit the pavement." I'm like,
Was it
I'm
fun
ro-
though?
I-
Yeah,
we
oh,
had
yeah,
such a
yeah,
blast.
yeah.
We bought these little things from the bakery, like breads in little boxes, and wrapped them up, and
Oh, how
I had
nice.
calendars. So we
Didn't
had a
come
whole
knocking
little.
at my door.
Yeah, I was just going to
but-
say that. Nobody came to my door.
I mean, the reaction from some people were like, "Oh my God, for me? Come on in!" And I'm like, "This is great. A loaf of bread, and we're in." But it was really interesting, and yeah, the market is just the inventory is just not there.
Yeah, you can't sit back and wait for it to happen.
But in
anymore.
talking to a lot of people, they don't realize, as we talked last week's show, they don't realize that the prices have gone up. And that was evident by some of the conversations I had face to face yesterday. So I think it's a good thing. We're going to do it once a week.
Now, did you come
Awesome.
across anybody that was considering selling their house?
Yes,
You
we
did?
Yeah,
And what were some of the reasons that they were?
they didn't think the houses were worth have gone up.
Okay, so they were
a lot
waiting.
of times it takes time for the information to filter
Right.
through,
Right.
because a lot of the media is still negative. Prices are going down, and you have to
Media
look
negative,
at local.
isn't that just? Doesn't that those two words
Yeah,
just
right,
go
like
coincide
together,
with each
right.
other? Media.
But when we were saying, "Oh yeah, we just sold, one sold down the street for so and so," they're like, "That house, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So yeah, they'll come back and talk to my husband and I, and so we have a couple of people that were, going to be revisiting. But it was just nice to be out in the Florida weather, in shirt and tie. So it was hot.
Yeah, yeah.
But knocking on door, it was great. I really had a good time.
Now, if somebody, I mean, if for that reason, and that's proof right there that there's a lot of people out there. You guys do the competitive market analysis is at no charge, right?
correct.
No, yes, it's free.
So somebody, I mean, just to find that out, they may be shocked. And if you're just knocking on a few doors yesterday, randomly find people like that, then there's probably a ton of people out there listening to the show.
There is.
Give the agents a call, 772-882-5700, and have them come and do a market analysis on your home. You're under no obligation,
Right.
but you never know.
And maybe get some bread.
Yeah.
I get some
Bread.
free bread.
One guy was like, "Great, my girlfriend's
Catch a
coming
bread
over
for the
for
one
dinner.
that wanted to
This
return
is
to you."
great."
You have some pasta sauce to
Yeah,
sop with
you
the
know.
bread to sop it up? Or? All right, well, Mr. Scott McAllister, what's hot around town, buddy?
Well, fortunately, I just came from a listing appointment before.
Nice.
Where our team is in a similar predicament. We've sold a lot of our properties, and we're definitely in listing mode.
Okay.
My mother, who's the lead agent, and we brought on a listing agent, and we just picked up a gorgeous little villa in Sea Pines, which is a 55 plus community in Hobe Sound.
Okay.
A gorgeous little community. We sold a property in there last month, and I held a few open houses, and all the neighbors who came by, everyone was so super nice. And you always get the nosy neighbors whenever you have an open house, but it was one of those, you got a real feeling, and everyone was saying, "Oh, please move somebody in really nice. We want new friends to play bridge with and stuff."
Say, give me your address book and let me start calling somebody.
And they were really impressed with the amount of time we put in. We had priced that one really well, and it sold within a couple of $1,000s of what we
Your
priced
mom's
it.
the open house queen,
Oh, yeah.
She
so
is the best.
Yeah.
She is the best.
And we had a couple community events, like coffee and donuts come over, and we impressed the neighbors. So one of the neighbors called us up, and we just listed his place. Cute little furnished 2-2 townhouse for $124,000. It's priced right. It's a great
Nice.
neighborhood. So
now why would you say that all the houses are selling? Is it because the people that had them on the market are noticing that prices are starting to go up now, so buyers are really jumping into it, or you understand what I'm saying?
Well, and I think people are starting to sell now because of the fact that they were underwater for so long, not realizing the fact that their values are back up.
Right.
They've been wanting to sell them but haven't, and now that the price is up, they're putting back on
Well,
the market.
because my question is that you have no listings. You sold all your listings.
Right.
So that means that the buyers have been being more active to this. So, but obviously the sellers aren't as active because we have no listings.
Right.
So what do you think is driving the buyers to be more aggressive?
One is the economy has stepped up.
The interest rates.
The interest rate is
Okay.
still relatively low.
And the frustration of so many people, the smart buyers are either coming in and they're making a good offer, not playing the old school game of let's lowball. We're going to come in, make a good offer. And even if you're like, hey, this is my highest and best, we're giving you our best offer
There's
right
a
now.
lot of things.
Because so many people have been playing the game and they're tired of it. So now one comes on the market, people go and say, fine, I'll give you full price offer.
Also,
Right.
the lenders have loosened their belt a little bit. Believe it or not, there is a lot of great programs out now
There
that
are.
weren't available.
Yeah, I think
right
that,
after the bust.
Yeah, I think that. Help me with his name.
Chris.
Chris, yeah, there you go. Sounds like two
My man,
syllables.
Chris.
That when he was talking about the lot they got people coming right out of bankruptcy
Right.
now. They got some
Right.
programs.
So there's people
And there's a
out
lot
there.
of folks that are in bankruptcy.
Self-employed was
Yeah.
really hard to get self-employed. They have those.
Tell
Yeah,
you, a few people I talk to want to sell their home, but they're like, I can't find anything I like.
Right,
Like
that's
to
true.
Yeah.
move up or stuff. So that's
Oh,
why
because
you see the
inventory's low.
builders are starting to gear up and stuff like that.
Yeah. and
But
I-
one quick plug I wanted to say, Scott, tell us about that big piece of property you put under contract in Indiantown. That's hot.
288 acres.
What?
It was an old dairy farm.
Wow.
And it had been sitting. It's funny. The property out west, we have Andrew has some out there too. We've worked with him. Both his team and our team have property out in Indiantown, and it was like you get a call here and there. It's really been picking up.
Yes, it has.
We've been getting a lot of sign calls from people looking at agriculture. But
Okay.
yeah, we that one's really exciting. There's no contingencies on it. So it is a done deal.
So now
That's beautiful.
We're
That's
excited.
good.
Great
oh,
job,
so
guys.
it's sold.
It's
It's
not
a done
closed
deal.
yet, but
Who's-
there's no
who-
contingency.
what type of individual is buying it? What are they going to use it for?
Agriculture. That's
What-
all
what
they've
type-
said. They didn't.
Yeah,
They didn't
I-
specify. I know it's not the
No
other
legal
group that we
marijuana.
talked about.
That's what I was getting at.
they only want. They were looking for 3,000 an acre, and they didn't want to.
Colorado's moving in next door.
Probably beef. The way the beef prices have been
beef
going up
prices are
crazy.
soaring.
Yeah.
God, I see some of the beef around here. I don't know.
So that was a good job. Kudos to you and your
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
true.
very good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, how long has that been on the market?
What was that?
About a year?
Yeah, about
About
a
a
little
little-
over a
Now,
year,
is
just
that
about
for
before it
something
came
that
down.
large? Is that typical
For the
for
price?
that amount of property? Is that
You know what? It's really it was. We got it. They were originally asking 10,000 acre, which we knew was overpriced.
Oh, okay, that's I remember.
But
you
what
talking-
we did is fortunately there had been a couple of sales recently that gave us some good comps,
Right.
and we were able to go to the family and say, look, this is a good deal,
Right.
and we were able to negotiate back and forth and come up with a
Yeah,
with
that's
a
a beautiful
price
piece
everyone-
of property.
yeah.
Oh, I walked that with your mom and
Isn't
we
it?
drove. Yeah, it's really nice.
So we know
Yeah.
who's buying dinner.
Right
tonight.
on 710. Yeah.
So we don't. I mean, we don't always not
Parties
all
at
just
your
specialize
house,
in
huh?
homes, but
Yeah.
we also do a lot of land and agriculture
Yep.
and stuff.
Yeah, and as a licensed realtor, you can work in any of those types of property,
Sorry.
right?
Of
Right.
course.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're not restricted to just, if it's got four walls and people live in it, you're not restricted to that. So that is great.
I've been chased by cattle a few times.
I would have liked to see that one.
See a goat. A goat is behind
I
it.
would have loved to see that one.
My mom's like, you shouldn't have worn a red shirt.
Well, we're Keller Williams.
Oh, yeah.
The bulls come
Awesome.
chasing after you. Guys, well, we're going to go take another quick break here from some of our partners. You're listening to TREU Radio, and don't forget TREUradio.com, where you can listen to all the shows from the past. You can find out a little bit more about the agents that are on the show with us and anything else you want. Give us a call here, 772-220-9788. We'll be right back.
Customer service and great rates. That's what you get with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Remember, everyone's just one torrential downpour away from a flood. And with rates as low as $129 per year, why would you not get coverage? Call 772-233-4444 or email flood@atlanticinsurance.us and save hundreds on all your insurance needs. That's 772-233-4444, 233-4444 for Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Are you selling your home, wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stuart, and online at stewartdecorator.com. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding. When you buy a home without a house master inspection, things can break down without warning. When things break down without warning, you get angry. When you get angry, you may commit acts of random violence. When you commit acts of random violence, you could do hard time. Don't do hard time. Call Housemaster for your home inspection needs. 772-336-2111. Or visit them on the web, stlucy.housemaster.com.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jupiter, and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I'm Tom Plapini, your host, with our fantastic realtors, Farouk Ali, Scott McAllister, Carol Morgan, and Mr. Andrew Sesta. Now, somebody was on vacation recently. Weren't one of you guys on vacation?
No, but we sure need it.
Yeah.
I can use one.
This is not the time of year for realtor
No.
vacations.
No. Oh, that's actually what it was. There's a friend of mine up in Vero. They do a real estate show up in Vero on Waxy, and I saw pictures all over. They went to it's either Bahamas or Bermuda, one or the other. One of it began with a B. And
Bora Bora?
they had all these pictures where they actually they did radio over there when they went over there.
Nice.
Great, nice.
Yeah, so they were
So,
showing.
Tom, when you taking us?
I don't know. It's, maybe if we have
Get
some of our
organized.
sponsors that would, sponsor
Hey, there
that.
you go. You guys
Any-
listen out there?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because then they're going to want to
We're
go
plugging.
too.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Corona will sponsor us to go to Cozumel.
Oh, there you
I
go.
like the sound of that. No alcohol included.
No.
All right, so we were talking a little bit about what's been going on this week with you folks, and we have had a lot of stuff going on. So what are some of the big things that you've come across? Now, Carol, you mentioned about the bidding war thing, but what
Yep.
other big things are going on in this community with market or with real estate and whatnot? Are we seeing some big changes? Are we seeing lulls? Are we
Well, business is picking up. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm swamped.
on the buyer side?
On the buyer side.
Yeah, on the buyer side.
You know, I just wish I could find the product.
Yeah.
And
Buy some
without the
bread,
product-
knock on some doors.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Gotta take you up on that.
Or just follow behind me with the butter or
Yeah.
something.
There you go.
The
The
pasta
preserves.
sauce. The pasta sauce.
My team came across this week something I thought I wasn't going to hear again.
Yes, you did.
The two words every realtor hates to hear: Chinese drywall down there.
Oh, no way.
Or as
Still.
Elaine Shum
Oh,
would
yeah.
ask us to say, Asian American drywall. So
Defective drive.
Defective.
But yeah, we actually had an inspection. I had a house that was our seller. There was no reason. I mean, it was going to close. It's quick close. They just had the inspection. Everything's going great. The inspector comes down from the attic, shows me his camera. It says "Made in China." Now we're looking to see because there was no smell.
Right.
And there's usually a very obvious smell. It
Yeah,
might
there's
not.
a sulfur smell most of
There
the
might
time.
not be part of the
You'll get-
defective. Part of the
Right.
defective batches, so we're gonna have to hire a remediation company
Right.
to come in and check it out.
Okay.
But the second the realtor saw that, he called his clients and they just said cancel.
Wow.
You hear the word? You hear the word?
Yeah,
Chinese
whether
drywall,
it's there or
cancel.
not. Now, do the inspectors that you typically use, can they test for the drywall?
No.
No.
They can't. Well, if there is a company out there that I know quite well, who's actually been on my show, my Comfort Time Live radio show, multiple times. In fact, I actually have a complete page dedicated to that about the Chinese drywall and whatnot. So if anybody's looking for that, Howard Ursum from Chinese Drywall
Right.
Screening, you
I've
familiar
used
with?
it. I actually
Yeah.
used it myself on a
Yeah,
house that I was
Howard is.
purchasing.
I've known Howard for years, and
Well, I
Howard's
will
a
recommend them to my.
Absolutely.
to my
Chinese
customer.
Drywall Screening, Howard Ursum, great guy, very knowledgeable. He actually had a lot to do with all the a lot of the regulations and whatnot that are going on in Florida with that.
Can I ask a question real quick? That was in the roof?
It was in the attic.
In the attic.
So, but he was taking pictures of the
He was shooting down and taking
shooting down from the
shooting
roof.
down.
Yeah.
No, he was up in the attic.
He was in the attic
shooting down
shooting-
in the walls.
Shooting down on the walls.
To the
down the
right
wall.
Yeah.
So it was the wall board,
It
not
was
the
wall-
ceiling
No,
board.
it wasn't the ceiling board. It was the wall
Okay.
board,
Okay.
and it
So
was
that
very.
makes a difference.
Yeah, and it was.
Okay.
I mean, it said right on it. It was like made in China.
At this point in time, it's good for the seller to have a clearance on it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're
That's what
already-
Now,
we're
see,
gonna do,
this
right?
is this is a good example, guys. That he had the buyer. The house has only been in there how long now, or the seller?
Like 4 years.
4 years. He had the house inspected 4 years ago.
And they didn't catch it.
Didn't catch Chinese drywall.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're still finding stuff, and it's huge. I mean, they're making it mandatory. You're supposed to be certified for it, and but now it's unfortunately it's still out there. They're still finding it. I know there's a couple air conditioning companies that are working alongside of some of the builders with whole communities, which is typically where you're finding it. You're finding it in bigger communities
Right.
where they had a lot of that stuff. Sometimes you're not finding it in the one or the ones.
It was the newer build homes that were under construction when the hurricanes hit that we didn't have the supply of drywall here to repair the houses, so they brought the Chinese drywall in. That's what got us in trouble.
Yeah, and it all had to do from the information I received. It all had a lot to do with the mixing process.
It did.
Yeah.
Now it could be very positive. It could be in Scott's house that piece of Chinese drywall that's in there may not be a contaminated piece of drywall.
Correct.
So Howard will be able to find that. That cost runs about $1,800 to do a complete Chinese drywall testing.
Yeah.
They seal up the houses. They put all of these sensors inside that will detect if there's anything of a slight read at all. It'll pick it up. And it's very good. It's very worthwhile if you have it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm definitely going to recommend they do that.
Scary part is they've been living in there for 4 years
Yeah.
and stuff, and
Yeah, and that's
And they
Also
didn't
for
smell
the area.
anything.
yeah, and
so
see that right there, tells me that there's a good possibility that there is no issue.
it could be not tainted.
It could be so, but you never
But
know.
who's us to say that?
Yeah,
Anyway,
Exactly, but who else to say?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you
Right.
never know. But some people may not react. I mean, Howard was telling me that there was one lady that came to him that said her dog got cancer because of it. Just all kinds of crazy stuff that people would.
Your pets could be infected
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm gonna tell you, I had a house up in Port St. Lucie, and the people had been living in this house since it had been built, and it was so full of Chinese drywall.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh no, we've learned to live with it."
Not living.
They had little children,
Oh, no.
and I'm looking at them like, really? Why? We don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. We
Yeah.
don't know how it's going to damage your lungs. We don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to be
I had
cancer causing.
I had a
We have
lady
no
that wanted
idea.
to purchase one back in when they were like 50,000-60,000, and she was going to move in, and I told her I didn't want anything to do with it.
No.
I said find another realtor to sell it to you because I can't.
No, we
I
have
won't
to-
feel
yeah.
good about
You
myself.
gotta
if I'm
sleep at
selling
night.
to you.
Yeah. That's
She
all
was
you
okay
need.
with it. She was going to sign disclosures. I said I just let somebody else sell it to you.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's.
And Scott, you may be able to salvage your transaction anyway. I mean, if
Yeah.
you can get this test done and show, and they'll give authenticity saying that the Chinese drywall is not tainted, you may be able to go back to your buyer and say, hey, listen, we have a test here showing that this is not bad Chinese drywall.
Yeah, because it was a very off the cuff reaction. A realtor immediately hears that they want to protect their and rightfully so wants to protect their client.
Well, that's the thing. The stigma is just there. I mean, I know investors that buy those homes, strip them to nothing, take them apart, redo them beautifully, and have a hard time selling them
Well, you have to disclose.
because you
You
still have
do.
to disclose it had prior, and
you do?
being
You
they
do?
ripped out
Oh,
So,
yeah.
everything.
so even if you've ripped it out and completely
Yes.
remediated the whole home, you still have to
Well, you know what happens with that? Because I was looking to purchase a home that was a Chinese drywall house that had been totally stripped. Against my better judgment. But the man in my life wanted that house. So I said, okay. So here's
Are
what
we talking
we're
about your
going to do.
husband?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
That was a joke. That was
Yeah.
a joke.
I had the test. I said, the only way I'm going to do this is if we have the test. And I said, I have a gut feeling that even though it has been totally torn out,
Right.
redone, supposedly clean, everything inspected by the county, everything has been done, I still have a feeling there's some Chinese drywall here. I said, I can still smell a little bit of it. They said, oh, it's all in your head, right? I said, no, it's not in my head. Well, what happened is yes, in fact, there was a small amount of Chinese drywall in there. Now, when they take that all apart, it creates dust. You know how drywall
Oh,
dust
yeah.
is? It's messy. Supposedly, they say they go in and they take the rafters and they vacuum them all down, and all of that is sucked out. All the copper is removed. All the electrical is redone. There's absolutely nothing in there. Well, there is still dust in there, and in that dust is Chinese drywall.
Yeah.
And so when they say they have completely remediated them, it's still in your best interest to have a Chinese drywall test done on that house.
Yeah, they're hard to sell.
Yeah,
They are hard.
this weekend I was working with a buyer. Well, I started working with this couple before, and then they called me up Friday night, and give me an MLS number and says, we'd like to go and look at this property. So I went and I found the property, set up the appointment to go show because so I got over there to the property. As you know what's happening with Crosstown Parkway, they got the approval to go over the Port St. Lucie. So now the properties that is there is going to be eminent domain.
Yeah.
So we got there and I was swamped. I pull into the driveway, not realizing because it was not directly off, it's off the beat.
All right.
Partly they're going to be extending.
Right.
And I was swamped by the neighbors. They came over and said, why are you guys looking at this property?
We're gonna
This
have to.
property is going to be demolished.
Right.
Why are you looking at it?
All right. Well, we
So
gotta.
you
We gotta
got to know
have
your marketplace as well.
We got to head out. Okay, as always, we're going to end the show with a quote from Mr. Zig Ziglar. It's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you respond to what happens to you that makes the difference. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening
Thanks.
to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We will be
And
back
I-
next
I-
Thursday
I got a
live
corner from
from the Kane Center. See you then.